Thanks everybody for being here today. Finals ends today, which is good. This is always a real challenging time of year for basketball coaches. You got final exams going on, and it's just it's really challenging. Not a lot of structure in their daily lives because they're cramming and trying to get studying done, and then you're wanting to practice, and they're trying to cram and make good grades and all that. So it's a challenging time, but we're getting through it. Today's the last day of finals, so we'll get through that, and then it doesn't get any easier. Like I said, there's just not a lot of structure. All you do is sleep and eat and play basketball, practice, and the way the schedule fell, and we had such a hard time filling our schedule this year. We've had one game this Wednesday, and then we don't play again until the following Wednesday. So it's good and bad. I do like it because we can really focus on some things that we need to get better at, and then at the same time get ready for after Christmas.
Okay, we'll take questions now. Roger, you want to start?
Vic, the importance of first true road game, and kind of getting into an environment that won't be as friendly as the Virgin Islands, and just kind of taking that next step in the process.
Yeah, I'm excited to take our team on the road, and obviously we'll go into a place that'll have a lot of people and be a great environment for them and be challenging for us. So I'm excited to take our kids in there. I'm really excited to take Shaylee home and let her play in front of all her family and friends, and so this will be good for us. You always find out about your team when you play good teams, and when you play good teams on the road. And so we played a really good team in Connecticut here at home. Now we're going to go play a really good team in Arizona on the road.
Harry?
Coach, good afternoon. So you talked about, having some time to work on things that, you are not, you want to hone in on, right? And work on that maybe there's a deficit. You have a 10-0 record. What possibly are those deficits? What are you working on that you're trying to sharpen?
Well, we've got to develop some continuity through substitution. That's probably our biggest lingering issue in my mind. At the same time, I think we've played 10 games now. We've done some things really well, but we need to add to the arsenal. And so whether it's something defensively, if you want to play zone, or if you want to put a zone press in, or offensively you want to add sets. I just think there's things you can do that this time of year is a great opportunity to put them in. We had held on to three offenses that we hadn't ran all year until we played Connecticut, and I think it really paid off for us. But we had run them every day, and so same thing holds true for the next team and the next team and the next team.
Thank you.
Other questions for Coach Schaefer? Yeah,
Yeah.
Tyler, go ahead. Can't quite hear you, Tyler. Roger, you want to go ahead or let's go to Bob while Tyler's figuring that out.
Hey, Coach. This Arizona program's 3 years removed from playing in the national championship and has made the tournament the last couple of years. What are some of the biggest challenges in sustaining that kind of success, and the job that Arizona's done in trying to do that?
Well, I think the only thing harder than building it is sustaining it, right? And so when you do that, I think you always have to, it's not ever been an issue for me or my staff or our program, but I think when you look at programs across the country, and I'm talking in general, I'm not talking about Arizona, just talking about in general, you always have to, it's hard to build it. It's even harder to sustain it. And there's no substitution for hard work and commitment and just rolling up your sleeves. I mean, just like we tell our kids, you know, you're going to get out of the game what you put into it. The game's real fair. The same thing's true in jobs and coaching. You're going to get out of it what you put into it. It's really fair. And so I think what they've done at Arizona, they've done a great job of continuing to play their style of play. They play really hard. They recruit well. And those are all things that you have to continue to do if you're going to sustain any type of success. And so, again, I think it's the total program. They have a great fan base and a good following as well, which makes it a really a really special environment to play in. So again, I think what I see across the country again is the teams that are able to sustain it, they don't take it for granted and they don't get complacent.
Roger?
Vic, what's the challenge of coaching back players from injury, especially ones that could be so important? Aaliyah, the long-term injury, Dee, the shorter-term injury, and kind of knowing the buttons to push and all that, knowing that also, March a little bit more important than December.
Yeah, I think for me, it's just being careful. You don't want to get them back too soon. You don't want to put them in harm's way too quick. The challenge is the mental piece. Like, I can't get in their brain. All I can do is when the doctor says they're good, I have to let them know, hey, doc says you're good. He's got your best interest at heart. I've got your best interest at heart. I'm going to keep a good close eye on you. I always tell the doctors that, I've been watching her. I'm watching her closely. I see this. I don't see that. But I think that's, here's the thing, Roger, just because a doctor clears you doesn't mean you're 100%. Like there's a lot of rust to knock. Deanna Gaston has a lot of rust to knock off that she built up over a 6-week period, and she's a pretty good player. Same with Aaliyah Moore. She's got a lot of rust she's trying to knock off that was built up over 10 months. So Giselle Amal, pretty good player, but she's still trying to knock off some of the rust and overcome the mental part of the injury. And, I'm not going through it. I can't imagine, all I can do is give them confidence and tell them that I feel good about it because the doctor has cleared them. I feel good about our team doctors. And so you just have to continue to support them. And, the other pieces, me and our strength coach, our trainer, we've got to continue to work with them to put them in positions where they gain confidence in that limb or that part on their body that's been injured. And so the more you put them in a reactionary situation and they get through it and they go, oh, that was okay. I handled that well, or it didn't hurt or whatever. I think the more comfortable they become.
Coach, Tyler wanted to ask about Shaylee and just going back home, and if you've talked to her about her excitement about coming home and playing in front of friends and family.
Yeah.
Dad said she's going to have 50 plus people there on Wednesday.
Yeah, so really excited about that. Again, great kid. Really so fortunate that she decided to come to Texas and then come back. And she's been someone that has been great for our program. Kids love her, staff loves her, works really hard. Could have gone anywhere, a lot of places. Chose to come here because she knew she wanted to be challenged. So just happy to be able to do this. She is going to have a ton of folks there, which is great. We need Shaylee to play well. She's averaging about 10 points a game for us this year, which is great. But again, I'd like to see that. She's at 9 a game. I'd like to see that at 14, to 16. But at the same time, we've got other weapons. Whereas last year we didn't quite have what we have this year from a firepower standpoint. So it's been, she doesn't have to go do that as much as maybe she did a year ago, but the kid's capable. And, I think there's more that we can get there, and we'll continue to work with her, but really excited. I know she's excited. I know her family's just really excited as well. So should be a great night.
Let's go to Cliff. Cliff, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, I'm looking out your window there, and I see the Irwin Center back there, which we may not be seeing that much longer. Kind of off the beaten path here, but just curious to know what as an Austinite and a coach in this state for a long time, and now that you're here, what's maybe your favorite, best basketball memory and non-basketball memory about the Irwin Center?
I think the best basketball memory has to be our second round victory over Utah in the NCAA tournament that second year. That was a great win and dominant win. And we played really well that night. That whole NCAA tournament's probably my best memory. We had big crowd. Another great memory would be our senior night, our second year, where we had 13,000 in there for those seniors in our first inaugural event that we raised money for the Neighborhood Longhorn program. So, but I've got tons of memories of coming to coaching school here, walking over to Schultz's between games, grabbing a chicken sandwich, maybe a cold drink, and then maybe going over there for lunch and never coming back. Like a lot of those, there's a lot of coaches, not me. I was always that young high school coach. I had to go back and learn, but there's lots of there's a lot of coaching that got done over there in that back area at Schultz's. And a lot of networking. And, but, just there's so many, obviously, I could probably even go back to old Southwest Conference days with Baxter and some of those guys, in their heyday and when they played in there, Whacker. Those teams were so good. Coach Conrad's teams. I brought my Sam Houston State team over here and played 1 year on the Longhorn Network, and that was a pretty big deal for us. So just, there's a bunch of great memories, y'all. And again, it's a special building to a lot of people for a lot of different reasons.
Bob, go ahead.
I know you won't believe this. It's not just coaches who have put in work at Schultz's.
I find that really hard to believe coming from you. You must have heard it somewhere on the street.
Never. Can you just talk about the leap Amina has made this year and where you've seen the most progress in her and kind of what her next step is as she tries to, just become a better player and a better player in your program?
No doubt. She is obviously the most improved player on our team, and kid can guard 1 through 5, Bob. She's second best on-ball defender on our team, 6'3", long, quick, really smart. If I could just get her to where she really wants to take a charge versus has to, I think she goes to another level defensively. Offensively, she's obviously much improved. She's she's shooting 67% from the floor, averages over 3 offensive rebounds a game, 6.3 rebounds a game, second only to Taylor. 14 steals, 10 points a game. I mean, the kid's been amazing. And again, spent time on her craft, right? I know Blair shot a lot with her over the summer, made her come in when maybe she didn't want to, but just spending time making shots, as my whole staff does with all our team. And so I just think, she's put in some work and she's reaping the benefits of it, but kid's really tough. I love her. She's competitive, boy. And again, I like the improvement. She makes a lot of hustle plays. She got 6 offensive rebounds a week ago Sunday against Connecticut, and she went and got them. She pursued the ball and, just out tough somebody. So really, really happy to see her getting better and being comfortable. I think is the biggest thing. She's pretty comfortable.
And then just one quick follow up on the schedule, because this is a pretty interesting 3-week stretch, I guess, because it's only every Wednesday, 4 straight Wednesdays. I know you said you like that. Does it help maybe in games too, where because they don't get to play, they kind of miss it a little bit, and they're not going to overlook anybody. You don't have to worry about some of the things you might have to worry about in a December stretch.
Yeah, I mean, my concern though now is we're out of school. We are going to leave tomorrow. We'll play Wednesday. We have to take Thursday off, but I'm going to have to sprinkle in some outside stuff, like some team dinners. We'll go to Matt's El Rancho one night and eat together. They like going over there and just having, because this team's really close. Like they get along and they like hanging out. So we'll probably, have dinner a couple times and maybe find a movie or go-karts. I don't know, something, bumper cars, but just spend some time together instead of just going home to an apartment and looking at 4 walls, because you get a lot of time. And it's what I don't like about this time of the year. I love the structure and discipline of going to class and study hall and practice and tank being open and going to eat and all that. And now we won't have that. So it's just, it's a challenge for sure.
Terry?
Yeah, Coach, I have actually 2 questions for you. The first one is, you have a standard for the level of play that Texas women's basketball is known for. And last year, I think even in the middle of the season or toward the end, you were still struggling to get the team to gel and to consistently be that aggressive team. How are they doing with meeting your standard at this part of the season? And are you happy with that, so that now it's about working with those fine details of, their game and shooting and taking, charges and things like that? So that's my first question, and I'll wait for the second.
I think where we're at right now for early December is a pretty good place. I think we've been really competitive and played really hard in the games that we've had to date. Even our bench, while they might not, they're still trying to figure it out because they're all young. They still are trying their very best. So I like the standard that we're trying to live up to. Do we practice great every day? No. Last 2 days hadn't been great, but I attribute that to finals and, everything else that we have going on right now. So I'm hoping that, we'll level out here. We'll get back, have a great day today, really good day tomorrow, get on the airplane, go up there, get in our routine, and really look forward to the challenge that we're going to get on Wednesday night. So we're 10-0 and, we've played well in some really, in a lot of our games, like we've really played well. So I can't be disappointed with that at all. I like that, and I like where we're at, but the schedule's fixing to change, obviously, and we're going to have to be able to function against better teams in the next 2 months.
Okay. So here's my second question. Cliff had asked you about your memories of the Erwin Center, and you mentioned the name. I want to ask you about Jody Conrad. One of the things that I noticed when you have events there and you invite the media, Jody's always there in the background. You see her at all the games. She's like this quiet support system. What is it like to have her still around? And I don't know if she engages with the players, but she certainly is a force, and she's encouragement. What is that like to have her still be there for the Texas women's basketball?
Man, I love it. I love seeing her. She's always so warm and caring and, has great insight still. My vision when I took this job was Coach Conrad coming in my office in the mornings after a game and drinking coffee and telling me what she liked and didn't like. I welcome her and love seeing her and want her around as much as she wants to be around. She is retired and she's got things she does in retirement that she loves to do. And I get that. But when I don't see her for weeks, I call her and go, "Hey, what's up? Where are you at? You mad at me?" I pay attention to that, and I love seeing her. So, um, she means a lot to me, and it meant a lot to me when I came here that, you know, I had her blessing to be here, because I know the investment she made here, and I know um, what the University of Texas has meant to her and what she's meant to the university. So, again, to be the head coach here in women's basketball, no one knows the history of women's basketball here better than I do, and the respect and the admiration and then the love that I have for that. Nobody can have that, and obviously a lot of that has to do with coach. I've got a picture of her and me in here in my office, of us standing together looking at this new practice facility being built. It's one of my favorite pictures all time. And so it's really, like I said, I love seeing her and I want her around. I wish she'd be around more, but again, I'm respectful of her time and her being retired and such.
Right. Thank you, Coach.
Excellent. Coach, we appreciate your time today.
Hey, thank y'all. Appreciate y'all. Praise the Lord, Nooga Morns.
Amina, Coach says he doesn't like this time because there's too much idle time. How do you guys like it as student athletes that could take a little break from the student part?
I actually like it a lot because being a student athlete, as everyone probably knows, is pretty stressful, you know. You got your whole day taken up with practice, academic, study hall, and like just to play basketball with just get to play basketball without the academics part is kind of fun for a little month. Yeah.
Issa, go ahead.
So obviously there's this month that you don't have the school, but what about right now, this final seasons? I'm a student, I know how stressful it is. How do y'all deal with that and still focus on your basketball?
So our academic people at NES, which is like the study where we do study hall, they really help us out a lot. They get us tutors when we need them, things like that. They make review sheets for us. So I mean, we're pretty capable to all pass our finals, to all get the materials we need to pass. And most of us are pretty much done with our finals. So I think today was the last day for all of us.
Bob?
Mina, where do you think you've taken the biggest step this year? Like, what do you think it is about your game that's allowed you to take this leap this year so far?
For the most part, I think me working hard on the offensive and defensive board side, defense, Coach Sheffer really loves defense, so I try to take a lot of pride in that to help myself stay on the floor. I'm trying to make more shots, build more confidence in my offensive game, but I feel like I'm really confident in rebounding and defense, and that's one of the main things he likes. So,
Eric?
Mina, what would you say is your favorite part about playing basketball at the University of Texas and going to school there? And what would you say to players who aspire to come and play at Texas? What's your advice to them, or what would you say to them if that was their dream?
my favorite part about being at Texas is it's pretty close to home, and then a degree from here would be wonderful, honestly, in any major. My major is kinesiology, so I'm looking to get a degree in the physical culture of sports. Um, Basketball wise, my favorite thing is like this is really a defensive team. Like that's my specialty, defense. So to play for a team that's really defensive minded is really good for me. And for people wanting to come to Texas, I'll just say just work hard. Like Texas fight. That's the main thing going on at Texas, working hard. It's a lot of winning teams, a lot of great teams, volleyball, basketball, football.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Bob.
Just on your summer, Coach was talking about how Blair maybe had to push you a few times when maybe you didn't want to go to the gym, and normal in any athlete. How much have you realized how much harder you have to go to make yourself, an elite player in women's college basketball?
During the summer helped me realize a lot because, like Coach Sheffer always says, leap before your freshman and your sophomore year is like where you get the most better. And so Blair had to push me a little times, but I mean, I went still. So, and I've actually seen improvement in my game, so I'm gonna continue to work on my shot, driving, my offensive confidence. Yeah.
Terry, you got another one?
Yeah, so I'm curious. You said today was the last day of finals. What classes were you taking? How'd you do in your finals? And so far at the university, what's been your favorite class or subject that you've taken?
My classes, I took American government, was not my favorite, but I got a 76 on my last final, was actually pretty good for government. My other classes are sociology of sport. That final, I got a 47 out of 50. That's probably my favorite class, honestly. And then another class I'm taking is the physical culture of sports. On my last final, I believe I got a 40 out of 50. I mean, that's kind of in the middle. So my favorite class is definitely sociology of sport. I like to get into deep things about sport. So.